Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hi, Corn Artist. Hi, Siren. Welcome. Good afternoon. Good evening. Wherever you guys are. Remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Good evening. It's been raining all day here today. We had one day it was close to 80 degrees, and now it's going to drop down to the 40s. Oh, that's how you pronounce it, siren. Oh, great, thank you. What is the meaning behind the name? Is that your first name? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the video with Regulus. I've heard a lot of good things about Linux. Hi, River Bluff. Welcome. And the funny thing is, oh, my cats, those 3 kittens, the black and white one, the eyes are very bad. They're not the same. Hi, Robert. Oh, yes, welcome. Yes, you you left a comment on one of the videos. You're from Poland. My grandma's from Poland. One of my grandmas is from Poland. Hi, Battle. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Regulus actually contacted me and said that he wanted to share some information with the community. Yes, like I'm a mutt. I'm a mutt. My daughter's even more of a mutt than I am. Yeah, so my mother's background is Russian and Polish, and my father's background is Italian. Then my grandma tells me that My Italian grandma tells me that somebody in our family was from France. I don't know. I won't do one of those DNA things. Yes, I'll give you a quick update on the kittens. I've seen this before. They have done this to they did this to popcorn, and it was really disgusting. Let me just pause this music. They go into the cats building and they do it overnight. I don't know exactly what they do, but they terrorize these cats. They harm their eyes. They do something. I think they're implanting their eyes with cameras. They did the same thing with popcorn. It's absolutely disgusting. And the one little black and white one, the eyes, the whites of the eyes, and the like the second lid is still up, which shows that there's been a trauma to the eyes. Yeah, my favorite bureau of instigation. Yes, I mean that's the only way we can describe them. And also, for the safety of the channel, I can't keep mentioning their names all the time like their real names. So, um, yes, my favorite beer of instigation. Yes, sold not for sale. Oh, it's horrible what they do. If I could literally spend 2 hours speaking about what they've done to my cats in New Jersey and here. I wouldn't even be able to discuss it on YouTube, and I certainly wouldn't be able to show the photos because they've removed them already. Oh, thank you. Well, this isn't my painting. I didn't paint it, but thank you. They're little ACEOs, and I found a woman on eBay who paints them, and all the money that she makes on the little pieces of art she donates to an animal shelter near her. So she loves cats. And yeah, she's on eBay. It's I'll type it in the chat if you want to look her up. And she will commission photos. So I asked her about doing a watch listed. Um, the little cat that's in front of like a lineup. How okay. Let, all right. Let me. I have two things. The little paintings. She will do commission paintings. So she took my logo. I asked her if she could create a photo around my logo and thank my donors. So she took my logo and the pendants, and then she created her own designs. I gave her ideas, and then she did it for me that way, which is really cool. How do I think they do what they do and not get caught? Okay, there are a couple of things. Well, when you're asleep, they can do anything. If they're knocking you out with radio frequencies and or drugs and poisons, I won't wake up. There have been times when my alarms have gone off and I have not heard my alarms. Yes, they knocked me out to mess with the kittens. That's exactly what they did. Because I went to lay down in bed, and the next time I knew it was 4 o'clock in the morning from 11 o'clock at night. And yeah, I was tired, but there's no way I would sleep that long. It's not like me. And I've mentioned this before that when I was still living in New Jersey, my daughter was home from university. We decided to take some videos out from the library and watch them together. So I'm watching a movie with her and I fall asleep, which is so not like me. I just passed out. I fell asleep, and my daughter got concerned. She's calling me, "Mommy, mommy, wake up, mommy, mommy, wake up." She knows like I'm a light sleeper. And I finally wake up. I'm totally out of it. And she says, "I was scared. Like I couldn't wake you up. It's not like you to not wake up." And I didn't know what was going on back then. I knew that something was happening, that I was being messed with, but I didn't have the words for it. So that's what they do. They knock you out. So if they've got your DNA, they can knock you out. They can actually, and I spoke to another targeted person about this. She described it perfectly because she was a nurse. She said that they have the ability to mess with your optic nerve so that you will not see something that's right in front of you. Yes, they've done this before. That's exactly right. Exhausted from the trauma, the do, it makes us vulnerable to the program. Absolutely. But also, it's exhausting. I don't know what your situations are. I can just speak for myself. I live on a farm. It's a lot of work. They have dumped an inordinate amount of animals here that are not spayed or neutered. I now have two females that have given birth, and of course, with that bitchy veterinarian who won't give me an appointment because I'm not friends with her friends and she doesn't get me. Um, and I have not heard back from the veterinarian board. So, yeah, so they dump animals on my property that are not spayed or neutered, and then they get pregnant. Most of them have been male, so that hasn't been a problem. The only problem is that the males fight amongst themselves. Um, yeah, the cops are always involved. They have to be involved. Sleep paralysis, that's really interesting. Um, the only way I can describe it is this: I'll go from being completely awake to completely asleep. That's not normal. The normal phases of going to sleep is you get a little bit sleepy, you get a little drowsy, you go into that, kind of in between sleep and waked period, and then you go into your REM sleep, and then you wake up fully refreshed. I never feel that anymore. Since I moved to Kentucky, I do not feel that at all. Yes, that could be. I've never had any of this stuff before. I mean, and even when I was targeted in New Jersey, I mean, I have always had like regular sleep patterns. Go to sleep at a certain time, wake up at a certain time. I never needed like 8 hours of sleep. I don't know how people get 8 or 9 hours of sleep. I don't even have 8 or 9 hours in a day to devote to sleep. I have too much else going on. So it's exhausting here. I've got two chicken coops to clean, and these criminals go into the chicken coops and filthy them. I took photos after I cleaned the chicken coop, I guess a couple of days ago, and the next morning, everything that I cleaned was totally covered in this disgusting, pithy dust, which I think is they're doing it one to filthy everything because that's their agenda. And also, it's that I have to breathe it in, whatever it is that they're using. Uh, I'm breathing. She was a TI. Oh wow! Oh, Cheryl, thank you for letting us know. Cheryl says, I'm on a tribute to Rainetta Jones. She was a TI that just passed. Tribute on Super Soldier Talk. Typical skeptic network on Rumble. I did not follow her, but people have constantly mentioned her in the chat, and I've gone to her channel and stuff. I didn't really follow her. I mean, there are just too many people. But yeah, so that's what they do. They knock you out so they can perform their mischief. And I'll tell you something that they did today, and it was raining all day today. So I have rubber mats in each chicken coop and in the cat's building. So today I decided, oh, it's raining. I'm going to get a free wash. I'll take out my rubber mats and get them all nice and wet and soapy and leave them outside on the grass, which I did do. And then I wanted to wash them off. So I brought them around the back of my house where I have my garden hose and the water pump. So I sprayed water all over them. I kept them there. I needed to scrub a little more. And then it started to rain. I had a cat out there. I opened the door into the cat's building. We go into the cat's building. I come out probably about 15 minutes later, and whomever was on the property cut a W shape in the mat, tore up the whole edges of it. These people are on me like white on rice. They live on my property. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm absolutely convinced that they are intercepting phone calls of people that are interested in the property. Well, does anybody know, Rainetta? Um, oh, thank you, Cheryl. Thanks for letting us all know. Hi, Bronhausen. Welcome. Remember to hit the thumbs up when you come in too. I don't really know anything about Rainetta, but it's sad when any targeted person passes away. I mean, I don't know how old she is or what her situation was, if they made her ill. What happens? Did she have a car accident? Hi, everyone. Yes, gang stalking does need to end. Yes. I'm really sorry to hear about Rainetta. Cheryl, perhaps you can let us know, um, later in the week or tomorrow, whatever. Again, I didn't know anything about her, about her life or whatever. You made the mistake of moving back down to rural South Georgia. I'm beginning to believe that the rural areas, if you're a targeted person, are worse than the suburbs. I mean, I would never move to a big city. I lived in New York City for a while. Yes, they want to make sure that I sell the house for way more than I want it. Well, that's not going to happen. I've been through that show before. I've been through that show before. My former residence is going for about $900,000. And I know this is a valuable property because this property can be divided up three ways. So if I were to start dividing up the property, I'd make a lot more money than just selling it as one piece. I know that moving doesn't help, but moving to certain locations are better. And I don't like it here. I can't stand living here anymore. It's a beautiful property. It's a lot of work. And then, of course, I need a veterinarian. I can't live somewhere where I can't have a vet. So this is absolutely ridiculous. Oh, yes. Yes, you can share. And also for any newcomers that are here, remember that you can provide me a written testimony and I'm happy to read it to you. I can also do a testimony as I did with Regulus. We decided to talk on the phone because it's a lot for him to write. But I'm not set up for Zoom meetings yet, like David, David A. Although I will be interviewing Holly in a couple of weeks. and we'll do it through his Zoom since I'm not set up on my end for Zoom yet. So stay away from backwoods, drug infested areas. Well, unfortunately, when I look in my local newspaper, it's always about that. And it's not that it wasn't that way in New Jersey, but when you live in an upper class suburban area, the kids there, they get involved with drugs too, but most of the time, the drugs they get involved with is they end up, unfortunately, getting hooked on prescription drugs after they've had like a sports accident or something. Because like most of the kids in Manalapan, they have baseball and hockey and football and soccer. They're on teams and stuff, and they get into they get hurt, and then sometimes they need to have a surgical procedure. They're on painkillers, and they get addicted to these painkillers. No, no, I don't believe so either. I mean, I know who was involved in stalking me in New Jersey. Obviously, it was the Manalapan Police Department. Not all of them. Some of those cops were really nice, and actually, they did not know what was going on. Um, but there was a gang of them, a group of them. I call them the hockey puck club because that's what they did. They belonged to a little hockey club, and there were about 8 of them. So it was this club that was basically involved in harassing me. But the other cops may or may not have known about it or knew little of it, but didn't know everything. They weren't involved in harassing me. But there were the informants that moved in around me, the ones that moved in next door, the first ones. I call them the real estate mobbers because that's when my house started to deteriorate. They had this guy from Connecticut. He looked like he just looked like a criminal. And I believe that he was part of their team in coming into my house and destroying it when I was not home. You're saying the city is worse than rural? Well, there are more people in a city, but they can't co opt everybody in a city. There are too many people. They're not going to pay all those people. And, people who live in a city, let's say, an affluent city, people who work for a living, they're not going to get involved in this stuff. If they've got family, and they're paying their bills, they're not going to get involved in this stuff. They will be unapproachable. Just like there's no way that you would approach me with this shit. Let's see, your families spend in a group all day in the neighborhood to intimidate and sabotage all I do. Let's see, they exchange everyone in my apartment building for perps, at least 7 all around my apartment. Rural people are, yes, absolutely. River Bluff says, my experience is rural people are more brutal in all compared to city. I absolutely agree. Well, I lived in the suburbs, and like I said, I'd lived there for 30 years, so I knew all of my neighbors, except for the ones that had just moved in, the informants. And the neighbors that I'd been friendly with for all of those years, they weren't mean to me. They just ignored me. They weren't doing nasty stuff to me. They just, rebuffed me, which was fine. But here, these people are nuts. These people actually are, I believe a couple of them are criminally insane. I do. Right now, I'm being isolated, finances attacked, threatened with homelessness. Wow. See, I don't do drugs. Lorraine, is it me or the painting isn't visible anymore? Um, 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 um. Well, you mean the thumbnail on this? Hi, K Vicky. Yes, so you agree? Yes, in better neighborhoods, they're less desperate for money. They have a life. A soul not for sale says, I live in rural and the neighborhood watches ruthless with real estate mobbing and vandalism of my home. They're mentally ill with immunity from the police. That's exactly, it's like you're speaking my words. That's right. If you get extra money, they vandalize or tear something up, so you have to spend more money. I keep saying that I'm going to do this video, but I get so busy with the animals and stuff that I haven't done it yet, but I will do a video. It'll probably take me a while because I want to clean the cat building first, but I want to do a top to bottom video of what they've done to that building and to their belongings, their blankets, their beds. You will not believe what they've done to the cat's belongings and stuff. Con artist says my Australian friend lives in rural and she's terrified. Hi Equinox, welcome. Remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Yes, you are their everything in rural areas. You become their life. Well, you know what? Get a life. I just say get a life, losers. Like I've got too much going on in my life. Like, oh, I'm so important. The issue is that there are people thinking that they're helping because they believe everything they're told and start the stalking, but then there's the ones that break in and vandalize also. It's a mixture of good and bad people doing this. Well, I agree. That's why some of them don't want to show their faces. They won't show their faces because they're so guilty. Yes, of course I have cameras. Of course, and you want to know how many cameras they've destroyed? They have broken 6 cameras already. They've broken 6 cameras already. If I cannot refresh the screen. If I refresh, I'm going to lose the chat and I may have to start over again. So the little painting is a thumbnail. Is that what you're referring to? The thumbnail? The thumbnail is not during the entire chat. It's only when you sign on, and then when you sign off, that little thumbnail, that little painting, will be on the chat. For all the future times that you choose to view it. Yeah, that's just the way it works. I don't have the ability that I'm aware of. I don't have the software installed. Hi, David. Hi, welcome. It's so good to see you here. Hi, Holly. Yeah, I don't have the ability, I don't have the software installed on this laptop to share screen. And the reason for that is it's been interfered with so much, and I don't have any more space on this laptop. In fact, right now, is there a mail you like to share to send? Yes, I'll type it. I'll type it in here. Because Regulus says that I give out my email address too much, that it's not good. Here. So I'm not going to, let's see, did I get the spelling correctly? There you go. Battle says, I would recommend Bloomington, Indiana. Yes, I was gang stalked there, but it's the best town in the Midwest. Yeah, so Regulus said, during the interview that it's not a good idea for me to keep my email address on all of my videos. which I think is a good idea. So I'm not going to use my email address in the description of my videos anymore. It's on the main page. And on the main page, if you you scroll down, you click on email address, you'll have to like check a little box that says, am I cutting out? Oh, please, I hope it's not. I'm not getting any error messages or whatever. Like last week, usually around 40 minutes or so, 40 minutes, an hour. Sometimes I'll get connection network difficulty, but I think it's the criminals trying to end the chat. The videos. Oh, okay. So I don't have. You can't see me because I look like a hot mess. You never get to see me during these live chats. I'd have to put on makeup, and there's no way I'm going to do it right now. So you could use a different email just for. Yes, yes, and you know what? I noticed that David A started doing that, and I think that's a great idea. So I will have to create another email address, and also because my current email address is getting so clogged up, like I'm going to run out of space on this email address. I'm going to do that. Yes. Yep. That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. Yes, so I think Regulus, I'll invite him back, maybe in a month or so, because I'll have additional questions for him. I was going to formulate questions for him that morning, but that's when I walked into the cats building and I saw what they did to the kittens. Most email clients and software can be set to not open links. Hi, yes, Equinox. It is psychological torture. I mean, imagine going into your cat's building and finding 3 of your kittens' eyes tortured. They did not move half of the day. They didn't go to eat. They weren't playing. And even the little black and white one now, the third lid is still up from the trauma, whatever they did to the cat's eyes. It's really horrible. Let's see. Gang Stalking needs to end says, I literally watched them type on my text messages where they had complete control over my phone. So yes, they did that to me too. In fact, no. The kittens, the 2 black kittens, they were walking around today, but the little black and white one is very tired, very sleepy. Hi, Ti Tart. Is that Tartarus? Says my internet worked fine for months, and the second I tried to access my router's settings via web browser, my network driver ceased to function. You spent 40 days absorbing radiation, burning skin, headaches, service disconnects. Oh yeah. Well, they already killed one of those kittens. After I posted a video of them playing, they were so cute. I couldn't resist posting a video of them. The next day, one of them got really sick, and then within like a week or so, it was dead. I walk into the cat's building, it's dead on the floor. This is what they do. It's trauma-based mind control and it's satanic ritual abuse. Make no mistake. These are Satanists. These are Luciferian Satanists. These are very sick, depraved people. And it's interesting because when I was in New Jersey, I was mentioning to people that I believe that there are cults involved, and everybody kept saying no, no, no. Like when I've got all those conference calls, people would say, "Oh no, it's not a cult. Oh no, it's not Satanist. No, it's not." It's like, yes, it is. You're just not seeing it for what it is. Targeted individuals are their rituals. They are ritualistically tormenting us, our animals, our pets, our farm animals, our land, our property. These are very sick, depraved people. But yes, about when you watch them type text messages and stuff, that happened to me today. I was trying to upload a video. So, when you upload a video, you type a heading for it. So I'm in the middle of typing the heading, and this is what they do often. They will prevent me from typing the heading. It's usually in a video they don't want me to post. So they will intercept me after I've typed like a few words and then freeze the keyboard. So fortunately, I was able to do a screenshot of that. Well, wherever I move, I have to have a vet. So that means that I'll be moving to a more highly populated area because this is bullshit here. That's exactly what they do. Sold not for sale. Unspeakable evil. They will pay. My friend took in a pregnant cat which had two kittens. He found the mama dead today. It appears they used poison. I think he is targeted, but he doesn't know it. That's exactly what they did here. I'll tell you what they did here. It happened twice. I had a buff Orpington, beautiful little buff Orpington, and she had four, and it was the funniest thing because she laid four eggs. She hatched four eggs, and they were all black babies. So she's this little orange, a buff Orpington. She was orange, like a little, you know, like a pale orange. And then she had four little black babies. So I posted a video about it, and I said, I wonder who the father was. So joking about it, and she loved those babies, just loved them, and she was like the perfect mommy. They killed her. They did the exact same thing. Those babies were so lost. They were crying for days. And believe it or not, hi Matson, Mrs. Matson, Miles, welcome, welcome. Oh, it's horrible what they do. But what they did is these babies, these baby chicks, were so saddened because they didn't have the mommy to sleep under. The mommy bird keeps them warm. She shelters them from harm. She teaches them how to look for bugs and worms, and they follow her around, and they killed her. And those four babies were totally lost. And believe it or not, two guineas and a rooster took care of those four babies. It was so heartbreaking. And then they did it to another hen. I go into my coop and she's dead on the floor. And then in New Jersey, they did it to cats. And they would pose my cats, pose them. These people are sick. And that's why, like, I will call out the fucking sheriff every day of the week because he allows this shit to happen in the town. And I don't care who he's friends with or whatever. This should not be happening to pets. This is animal abuse, animal cruelty, animal torture in Jackson County, Kentucky. This is disgusting. These Luciferian Satanist pieces of crap. Psychopaths. So Bromhausen says, I lived in both cities and rural areas, and it feels the same. I don't know. When I was New Jersey, I feel like I had the same amount of people following me when I went out. Like, I don't go out into town very much here, but when I do, I feel like it's the same number of people that are around me. as in New Jersey. In New Jersey, usually there was somebody following me out of my development. Then there was a car behind that one. There was always somebody parked at the shopping center. Always two people parked in the shopping center. I mean, they give themselves away. Yeah, bikers, semi trucks. Yes, I have the bikers down here too. Well, remember, they'll only do things against you that bother you. Well, pretty much everything bothers me. I just want to be left alone. Hi, Techno Kid. Welcome. Yes, yes, yes. That's so mean. I think it's just so mean. And you know what it is when they call people to tell people not to offer you services, they lie. They absolutely lie. And I know for a fact. I know for a fact that my neighbors have approached people that have worked here because I've had two people tell me that they were told that I don't pay people. Really? How am I living here for 6 years and get my grass cut if I'm not paying people? These people, they should literally should all be sued for defamation. I think everybody goes around suing these people the wrong way. I don't think you need to sue the federal government. I think everybody needs to sue the sheriff's department and all the people that are harassing them. That's what I think. So River Bluff, you said they stopped the street theater and noise campaigns against you. Well, maybe it's because you were ignoring it, or it didn't work for you, or I don't know. Sometimes contracts just run out, and they have new people come on board, and they'll start something new. Yeah, that doesn't. I could care less what color the cars are. I agree with that. I just think red cars are ugly. I'm sorry for anybody that's got a red car. It doesn't. And I've mentioned this before that I had no idea what the one headlight meant. I've completely ignored it until somebody told me after I posted a video of my driving into town. And somebody pointed out to me, well, look at that. You could tell that that's a gang stalker because the one headlight's out. It's like I didn't even notice it. I don't even notice those things. It's not that I don't see that a headlight's out, but it doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah, they're relentless. Well, they're getting paid, they're paid to torment people, and I'm sure that there are a few that aren't paid and they just get off on it because they're sadists. Yeah, there's some things I could care less about. Like I said, the colored cars mean nothing to me. And sometimes I'm just too busy here to pay to any mind to whatever it is they're doing. Well, exactly. Because they want your attention. Hi, Ace of Cups. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, shit in, shit out. Yes. Hi, Kaylee. Good evening. Good evening. Remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Because I see that there are 28 people at least listening, and there are 16 thumbs up. I actually received something that I would like to read, at least in part. I don't even know how long it is because I haven't scrolled down completely, but it looks really interesting, and I'll read it in a short bit. Um, I don't know even know if we should talk about this. Are there things that like really piss you off that your perpetrators do? I mean, obviously for me, harming my animals really pisses me off. Harming living things pisses me off. So, and that I'm not going to change about that. There isn't gonna anything that they're going to do that's going to make me not care about what they do to my animals. I'm sorry. Oh, the migraines. Yes, yes. What a notice of liability. Yes, the vet refused service. Yes, a Dr. Rebecca Wilson in Anvil, the Anvil Veterinary Clinic. I posted a couple of videos. In fact, I can go onto my channel so you can see. Let me open this in another section here. I recorded her. She was absolutely obnoxious. All right, one second. Yeah, so I filed a complaint with the Better Business Bureau and then the Veterinary Board. Veterinary Board never got back to me, probably because somebody contacted them. And let me just search for it. Yes, I called to make a veterinarian appointment because all of these animals keep getting dumped on my property. And after being on hold and being hung up on, I was hung up on. So let me I'll post the link. So I filed a formal complaint regarding the unprofessional conduct of Dr. Taylor Rebecca Caleb Wilson at her veterinary office, Anvil, Kentucky, when I attempted to schedule an appointment March 19, 2025, for two cats that were dumped on my property. I was repeatedly placed on hold and hung up on 11 times. After being asked for my last name, I was placed on hold again, only to be told they had no appointments and they did not work with rescues. Then their assistant, Mackenzie, also hung up on me. Then Dr. Wilson herself finally got on the line. She shockingly stated that because I was not friends with her friends and that she didn't like my social media, she refused to accept the appointments. So you've got to listen to her immature and unprofessional comments. Her behavior was not only unprofessional, but also immature and petty. Additionally, I requested the office's mailing address 5 times, and each time I was met with hostility and another hang up. Then she had the audacity to say, Google the address. This kind of conduct is unacceptable for a professional, an allegedly professional veterinarian, and raises serious concerns about the quality of care and ethical standards at this clinic. So here is let me just get this for you. So this is the first video that I created about it. In case you're interested, you can hear it. Um, and this is the part 2 here. It's just one thing after the next, after the next, after the next. Yeah, I will move just so that I can get a friggin' vet appointment. This is absolutely ridiculous. And no, I am not reducing the price on my property. I'll divide it up first. I'll just sell it off in parts. I have not written to Trump yet. I have a list of people that I have to write to. Um, and I also want media attention. So I've been focusing a lot on media attention lately. I'm not going to file a lawsuit for veterinary malpractice because I never was her client. And that was part of the problem with the Better Business Bureau. I was not her client. Like if I was her client at least once, um, yeah, I'm not going to waste my time on the veterinarian. I've got bigger fish to fry here than just the veterinarian. My property's being mobbed, and I'm going to be addressing that. Yeah. The next clinic is about 35 minutes away. And that means my having to drive 35 minutes, drop off a cat, come back, drive back again, and back again. Where you're talking about 3 hours of my day. I'm not going to do that. There are not a lot of vets around here. This is what people don't understand. I live in the middle of nowhere on the edge of a national forest. When I was in New Jersey, even though I was targeted, there were so many veterinarians. And because I was a nonprofit, I had no problem getting a vet appointment at all. But these people, they attack everything. They go after my landscaper, anybody who wants to clean my property, help here. These people are disgusting. It's like a whisper campaign behind my back. And I think the primary person that's doing it, that's ordering all these losers, is the county lawyer. Let's see. You're trying to order online, they make sure your size is out of stock unless it's certain. I've heard that from a lot of people. Not the district, it's the county lawyer. He's a piece of shit. He's a gaslighting, stonewalling liar. Yeah, and he protects the criminals, the local criminals. Yes, they do that. Yes, they do. I realized I'm not even sure if it's bleach that they use. They're using they're using some kind of a weird substance because if you accidentally bleach your clothing and you wash them, the clothing feels like regular clothing. But there's something that they're using. Yes, I think that's what it is. Something acidic. Whatever it is that they're using on the clothing does not feel the same. And it disintegrates a little bit and it looks older. It's not just the bleach. TechnoKid says, I asked the stalkers in public with an open question if they have a death wish. You scare them. That's so funny. That's funny. Well, it's possible that they are using bleach, but that's not what it looks like on my clothing. It looks like it's a substance. It looks like some kind of a chemical. So anyway, I'm going to read. Let's see. One second. And this is a theory that I had a while back about these losers. Reasons for this targeting program, aside from the asset stripping and discrediting and all that stuff, I think that they have and they're voyeurs, and that a lot of targeted people are being ritually abused. It's satanic ritual abuse. Oh no. They really like to go after the vehicle. Oh, yes. Ace of Cups, that guy. I looked at his channel. Now, this doesn't look like a regular targeted person because he had an e-bike. He had a really like look like a nice apartment and stuff. I don't know. Maybe he's a perp. Actually, I looked on my phone and there is a magnifying app. I just don't have a lot of space on my phone to download a lot of apps right now. Yes, they mess up everything. And Matson, you are so good about documenting what they do to your house. You're like an engineer. It's more than moving items around. They re-engineer your house. They've drilled holes in the chicken coop. Hi, Holly. Welcome, welcome. They drilled holes in the chicken coop. They drilled holes in the cat's building. Oh, I think that would be a great idea. Yes, as long as one doesn't get put to sleep. Yes, I've always thought that. I even when my mother was alive, I always said that if there were two people, it would be so different. So like I'm sure, like even with David and Holly, because there are two of them, and I think their dad is there too, that they don't get the kind of break-ins. They're not getting broken into. So when you have more than one person around, somebody's in the house all the time, you're not getting people coming and going from your house. They do use they do. They absolutely lose. Hi, LZ, welcome. They do use cloaking tech. I've caught them on my cameras. I cannot relocate without my being here. They'll take over my property and destroy it. Yeah, some people have said, oh, well, you already have a deed and a title. You can just leave. No, not with these morons. They'd move into my property. I'd never get rid of them. Yeah, they've steal photos. Yes, yes. No, you can't because my being here, like I have not even driven into town since Christmas time. And it's May. That's a long time. And even with my not having left this property in 5 months, there's somebody like right now, there's somebody on my property. They're in shifts. And as soon as I get into bed, I always hear somebody out my window. They're doing something out there. Not everybody has it. There are blind spots on everybody's property and stuff. Absolutely. I agree, soul not for sale. I absolutely agree about the roommate thing. Well, first of all, I'm not young anymore. I mean, I have never had a roommate. The only roommate I've ever had was, I would guess you could say my daughter, and my ex-husband, and a couple of boyfriends. That's it. Those have been my roommates. That's it. Well, I would have loved to have. I think I hear cats fighting outside. I think it's popcorn. I've mentioned this, like, when I first moved here, I put it out if anybody wanted to move here that had, like, an RV, because I don't really have a place for somebody to live, but I have land, and I've got a water hookup and, electric and stuff like that. So if people wanted to, rent property, rent lands, own lands or whatever. Yes, yes. You were in the army, you have great aim. Well, you know what? I could use somebody with great aim around here because my neighbors, let me tell you, they are nuts. They're totally nuts. I so wish that I could share screen or photos in this, but I can't. When my technology is straightened out, maybe in a few months, maybe I know that there is an addition that I can use on live streams where I can share screens and stuff, but and photos, and unfortunately I can't do it. I don't have enough space. I don't have enough room. They get into the house while you sleep. Yes, that's exactly right. And people, have said, well, do you have cameras? Put up trail cameras. I put up trail cameras. I took them down because they were all interfered with. I had trail cam I had trail cameras in New Jersey in my half an acre backyard, baby cams, a hardwire system, Arlo cameras. I had everything imaginable in New Jersey, and they interfered with all of them. We're not talking about like the drug addict up the block. We're talking about military grade trained people. I've had so many different kinds of cameras. I had a really good hardwire system in New Jersey too, and it was doing really well until we went out Christmas Eve, and when we came back, they had hacked into it. Yeah, yeah, they know how to. They have shortcuts. Remember, some of these are military trained people. They do love attics. I figured out that after I was able to secure my garage door at night, they were getting in through my attic, through the grill. There's like an air vent, a grill, and it was large enough for a person to get through. So I'm just going to walk away from the screen for 2 minutes to get a cup of coffee. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn on a little music here. Let me see.
Who's coming in the driveway?
My daughter is being treated for leukemia.
Sorry about that commercial, guys. Stick them in every once in a while. Yeah, these criminals have been messing with my stove burner. And I don't know what they've done to the top of it, but the flame doesn't go around it completely. And then it causes like some creosote, that black stuff to form. It just happened like started a month ago. Let's see what you guys are saying here. So TechnoKit says, to make it work, we would need a team on the ground, one with the thermal camera, two on patrol, all walkie-talkies. Oh, do you hear the creepy voice? It's subliminal V2K directed at Lorraine. At least that's my own theory about it. It shows up in all of Lorraine's, yes, all my life. I don't hear anything. I don't hear any of the creepy voice until after the live stream ends, and then I play it back, and then I'll hear it. Yeah, they did something to the propane. I have a propane stove. I converted it from electrical to propane. And it's only like the last month, maybe 2 months, they've done something to this one burner. There is nothing wrong with anything in my house. And they have damaged my front door, my screen door, my back door, my metal door. They've damaged locks. These buildings were brand new when I got here. Have you tried going live using OBS? I don't know what that is. I don't know what OBS is. The problem is, I'm so busy here. I don't really have time to learn a lot of technology. Oh, the creepy voice gets anxiety when I leave. Oh, oh, well, that's so sad. Oh, well, what they did is they loosened the bolt, or they removed the sealer on my propane tank to cause it to leak. So of course I had to pay somebody to come and repair it. What am I using to go live? I'm just using YouTube. Yeah, I'm just using YouTube. Again, I don't have a lot of time to play with technology. Oh goodness. Yeah, they'll do that while you're asleep. Sometimes they can do it remotely, and sometimes it's just somebody comes in and out of your house. So do you guys hear the creepy voice right now? Oh, you're a data analyst. Oh, good. Oh, River Bluff. That's interesting. It's grumbling and mumbling. Well, I think it was last week or the week before. It actually sounded like words. It sounds displeased. Oh, poor baby. It's not as loud. Interesting. Well, I'm going to turn this music on for a minute because I had to go clean that burner, and I'm reheating my coffee, so I don't want it to burn, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let me just read what you guys are talking about. Okay, let me see what you're saying here. Oh, they do drain batteries. Yes, they do. They just did something with my vision right this minute with my glasses. That's weird. I don't know what they used to drain the batteries, but when I was in New Jersey, the Manalapan police were able to drain the batteries of my digital recorder right in front of me and drain the batteries from security cameras. Like the Arlo cameras had a battery and they would drain them. They would be completely charged when I put them out at night, and then they would drain them to cause them to not work. Yeah, they can do it to the remote controls also. Let me see what you're saying here. You have 3 unfinished degrees. They sabotaged all 3. Yes, I've had some audio analysis from Amy Holem, and they were really short videos too. They were only 30 seconds. I just sent her a couple of more that were 5 minutes long. I'm sure she'll be able to pick up some more stuff, but she's got lists of people. Yes, she got the name Ethan, which just happens to be the adult son of my neighbor, the ones that tore down my gate. Yeah, they were naming each other. They were talking to each other. There was actually one person in California she picked up. She said that there's a network of people, and one person was in California. And that was only on really short audios, really short, like 30, 35 seconds. It is very coordinated. It's very organized because they watch you. They'll watch you for a couple of years before. They pick up your routines, what you eat, your friends. I guess the word is infiltrate. They infiltrate your life. Completely infiltrate your life. Yeah, does your phone get hot too? Yeah, my phone will get really hot. Oh, that's why. One of my lenses just fell out of my eyeglasses. That's bizarre. Yeah, they sabotaged my life. I was going into a doctorate program, and they decided they were going to give me Lyme disease instead. Well, I don't have the focus right now. I've got too much going on here. That's another reason. If I moved, I might pick it up again, but I wouldn't do it here. There are a lot of things I won't do here. Living here is not conducive to anything that I want to do. Um, One of the things that I wanted to do was build a garden and grow food, and they destroyed it all. I've had 3 greenhouses, they took them all down. So I might as well move back to the suburbs. It doesn't pay to live here. I moved to rural areas so that I can be a farmer, so that I could farm. And they're not allowing me to do it. So why live here? There's no reason to be here. Zero. The local government sucks. The people suck. The weather sucks. um, there's no reason to live here anymore. And there are beautiful properties all over the country. I can't believe the lens fell out of these glasses. I might have to go get another pair of glasses and work on this another time, which is what I'm going to do. I'll be right back. Because I do want to read what I received. So let's see. A subscriber sent me something called Premise Operation Architect. It's operationarchitect.com premise, and I'll leave the link in the chat so you can either follow along or read it later. Who has it? Hi, KG Dub. My ex-husband's German. My ex-husband. Hi, Peace. Welcome, welcome. You keep changing your name on me. I didn't have any earaches. No, I have no German. Russian, Polish, Italian. Okay, let's see. Remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. So I'm going to read a little bit of this because it sounds interesting. I don't know how much I'll read or how long this is. It's called Premise. What if I told you that something deeply troubling was happening even in so-called free countries, that the elites had a covert system to destroy people's lives and push them to negative life outcomes such as suicide, while superficially making it look like help for the mentally ill. What if I told you I have experienced such a system myself, but no one believes me because I have been discredited with a schizophrenia diagnosis? What if I told you that there are countless other victims and that no one is safe from this? I have been banned everywhere on the internet for discussing this and trying to shed light on a system that few people even know about. How do I present the information in such a way that you won't immediately dismiss me as delusional conspiracy theorists? Here's how it works. And what this person did is provided a diagram. So this is what happens. A new victim becomes enrolled in a covert program by someone with connections. There are false rumors that the person is crazy, a psychopath, a pedophile, a terrorist, pervert, etc., proliferate at work, neighborhoods, leading to unexplained job firings and ostracism. Then there's a corrupt psychiatrist diagnosis, victim with schizophrenia based on vague criteria, like paranoia, persecutory delusions, with no investigation into whether the victim's allegations are true to discredit them from being a whistleblower about the program. Then no one believes the victim when they speak out, oh, you're just delusional, take your medication, and the victim is suppressed online. Then the victim's fate is artificially engineered to a negative life outcomes, and the cycle continues. How victims are pushed towards psychiatric traps and gang stalking. There's constant reputation sabotage through artificially planted false rumors. Like my neighbors. They lie about everything about me. They don't even know me. They lie. That's why the best defense that a targeted person has in a lawsuit is defamation, stalking, trespassing, and harassment. Forget about suing the FBI or the CIA. Forget about that. You could sue your neighbors for defamation. If you could prove it, you could sue them for defamation, get treble damages. That's it. Bottom line. Constant job sabotage through social engineering and character assassination. Constant gaslighting from perpetrators. Artificially induced mental health crisis. Nudge to psychiatric hospital to receive discrediting false schizophrenia diagnosis. Psychiatrists can't help you feel better. It's unethical and psychopathic. And by the way, you don't get schizophrenia in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and old. It just doesn't happen. And besides the fact that schizophrenia is the new bipolar disorder, like back in the 1990s, 2000s, the big thing was everybody had bipolar disorder, everybody had ADHD, and now everybody is schizophrenic. Has schizophrenia. It's bullshit. It's total bullshit. Just another way to make some money. How schizophrenia is abused as a cover story. Oh, and by the way, they did it to that Professor John Nash, Beautiful Minds, the Princeton professor, who actually um, devised the hyper game theory. That was his invention, the hyper game theory. Why am I losing so many jobs? The corrupt psychiatrist says, because you're schizophrenic. The victim says, I don't think I'm schizophrenic. Corrupt psychiatrist says, you lack insight into your illness. Victim says, I'm being treated badly and insulted at work. Corrupt psychiatrist says, oh, paranoia and persecutory delusions. The victim says, I think something else is going on. Corrupt psychiatrist says, you're imagining things. Your brain is playing tricks on you. It's called gaslighting. Victim, is it possible that this diagnosis was engineered to discredit me? Corrupt psychiatrist says, you are showing a very significant symptom burden. The common reasons for dismissal and skepticism. Oh, you're just schizophrenic and in denial. Take your medication. If this was real, I would have seen a Wikipedia article or mainstream news article about it by now. Occam's razor, you're the problem and it's all in your head. You're not high profile political dissent or celebrity. Have you ever heard somebody say that to you? Well, why are you so important? Why? Because you're bringing in millions of dollars. That's why. Doing that to someone is expensive and complicated. Yeah, it is expensive and complicated. But the deep state intelligence operations serving the elite interests can have nearly unlimited funds. Targeted individual Myron May explains his experience being subjected to a variety of harassment techniques that the program employs. He stated that many people online have shared their stories, making it mathematically implausible that so many people could simply be making this up. And then in this article, they have a video of Myron May, which I also have on my channel. I've got his 3 testimonies. He stated that targeted individuals are frequently dismissed as mentally ill, and this is what allows people to ignore their stories. Robert Card told authorities that he was experiencing a coordinated smear campaign in his social network, his workplace, and neighborhood where others were insulting him and calling him a pedophile, and then denying it and accusing him of hallucinating when he confronted them, showing that perpetrators are using schizophrenia as a tactic to gaslight and discredit victims. Well, let me tell you something. If I were to, when I really shouldn't, but if I were to diagnose my neighbors, I won't, because this is a recorded live conversation. But I could, and I would probably be correct about their diagnosis. Besides the fact that one of them is a pill popping lunatic, okay, stage psychiatric traps and gang stalking. Perpetrators do something so nonsensical and outrageous that it superficially sounds like a mental health problem. For example, they accuse the victim of being a pedophile, start sobbing out of nowhere around the victim. And when confronted directly, perpetrators follow a gaslighting and denial protocol with claims that contradict each other and don't add up. Oh, you're seeing things. Oh, you're hearing things. It didn't happen. They want to push to a corrupt psychiatrist for evaluation to get a false schizophrenia diagnosis. You should get checked out to rule out other causes. He states that the coordinated harassment campaign followed him even when he changed jobs, and that people were repeatedly provoking him with similar phrases across different settings, implying that they're likely following a scripted protocol. When he ignored their remarks, the perpetrators mocked him, saying an innocent person would not walk away and ignore their accusations of being a pedophile. It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. He insisted that it started very suddenly and that it was happening to him everywhere he went. His friends witnessed people in his neighborhood treating him differently around children because of the rumors that he was one of those. By then, Hodgson said, Card, this is the man's his last name is Card, Card, had begun venting to him about his belief that those around him were accusing him of being one of those pedos. Hodgson believed some of Card's complaints were true, a case of mistaken identity stemming from the fact that another Robert Card is on the state's sex offender registry, and described an incident at the bowling alley when a father snatched his daughter away from Card after he offered the toddler a hello. Authorities pushed Robert Card to a mental hospital for evaluation, where a psychiatrist claimed that he was experiencing persecutory delusions and auditory hallucinations despite his rational and coherent mannerisms in the video. He had previously cried in front of his mother due to the brutality of the psychological warfare he was experiencing. After he snapped and committed a mass shooting, medical professionals blamed his sudden change of behavior on traumatic brain injuries caused by his history as a grenade instructor to create a mental health narrative around his actions. Plausible deniability. That's to make stuff up. Even the military said it was not likely that the grenade blasts contributed to Robert Card's mass shooting. They suggested a similarly implausible explanation, that he suffered from an injury when he fell and broke his neck 15 years before the mass shooting. The military doesn't see it that way. After the Army conducted its own investigation, the then head of the reserves told reporters gathered at the Pentagon last July that there was no evidence that the shooter's brain injuries had occurred on grenade ranges, and that he had not been exposed to enough blasts for this theory to make sense. Instead, she suggested he was probably hurt while off duty, perhaps when he had a serious fall and broke his neck some 15 years before the mass shooting. When a television news channel requested a copy of Robert Card's forensic evaluation from the psychiatric hospital, they received a heavily redacted document. Entire pages were blacked out. What were they trying to hide and censor? The military confirmed that they were contacted by telephone call with rumors that Robert Card was gay and a pedophile, confirming that the harassment and smear campaign against Robert Card was real. So this was the slander campaign with rumors. It was a lie. All they do is spread lies. Robert Card was determined to create audio videos to prove that he was being talked about, just like I did. A unit member at the military station that Robert Card was working at testified that there were rumors that Robert Card had sexually transmitted diseases, what a pedo, and he had a small penis, confirming that the smear campaign against Robert Card was real and not due to schizophrenia. It's sort of like with the veterinarian. Oh, you're not friends with my friends. And I don't get you. And I don't like your social media. I mean, what kind of a veterinarian has that mindset? Robert Card stated that he was misdiagnosed with a psychiatric condition and was smarter than his medical team, spreading the particular malicious rumors that Robert Card was subjected to, and then publicly claiming that he experienced persecutory delusions and auditory hallucinations is psychopathic. And by the way, these people that are creating these narratives are fusion center operatives, and they are psychopathic. These are sick individuals. This is why they watch you for a couple of years before, so they can manipulate whatever it is that they learn about you. Anything that's good about you, they will twist and distort. Yes, it's all propaganda. I'm just like reading what you're writing here. Let's see what you're saying here. Hi, Freedom Voice, welcome. It's so good to see you here. Welcome, welcome. Oh, that's so interesting, con artist, that you worked in a mental secure mental institutions, jail, and mental health hospitals. 70% of the staff were perps. Hi, Joe. Welcome. Yeah, Freedom Voice is a great sleuth. There was somebody who posted a video, I guess within the last few weeks, maybe a month, of the creepy voice that started up again. That Havana Act, I don't know if it actually passed. First, they said it passed, and then they kind of redacted it. Yes, I obviously heard about it. Excuse me. Yes, and then something happened where they were discrediting it. Oh, it did pass. I don't like that it's called the Havana Act because it's not only happening in Havana. Oh, there's org. Yes, I will check that out. Oh, good. Okay. I'm just scroll up and look at some of the what you've been saying while I was reading there. Yes, I want to find out more about what's going on with Micah Miller. There was somebody within the last month or so that said that they're opening up the case again, and that all eyes are on the husband now because the family is speaking out and saying, "No, our daughter did not take her own life." And Freedom Voices video on that topic, on that subject, was phenomenal. Hi, Alex. On the video, the green shirt guy with Grim Reaper and roses on his shirt. Micah Miller. That was that that was great video. Oh, I didn't see that, con artist. Redacted has some. They're doing some really good work too. I believe that. There are a lot of people speaking about the fires, how they're starting, these earthquakes, the rain. The shore, yes, the Sean Ryan show. That Sean Ryan also interviewed Bob Marley's daughter, and she was talking about Hollywood and the satanic ritual abuse. That was a really good interview, also. Yeah, I really want them to nab that Micah Miller's her husband. Well, River Bluff says, I don't believe that there are this many stalkers that are this evil without some outside influence. Well, the mindset of the people, I can only speak for the people around here because back in New Jersey, my neighbors, my regular neighbors that lived around me, they were all educated. They all had college degrees, master's degrees. Their kids were, getting doctorate degrees and stuff like that. It was only the new people that were moving in that were agents. So, as I mentioned before, like the regular neighbors there were not bothering me. They were certainly part of it, part of ignoring me and stuff like that, but they weren't doing anything to me. I think there's a raccoon at my door. Wait, 1 second, 1 second. What's the matter? You have no food? Huh? Okay, come here. All right. Yeah, that was actually a raccoon. The raccoon was out of food. I hope they get that guy. I hope they get him. He's so guilty. Yes, that was a great video. The Micah Miller pawn shop video called Green Shirt Guy on Freedom Voices channel. It was excellent. It was so obvious from those videos that she was being stalked. And thank you for pointing out the Grim Reaper on his t shirt. I didn't notice that. I'm going to have to go back and look at it now. Do directed energy weapons work through ice? It does. They work through, and they don't melt the ice. They'll go through the ice but not melt it. Who invented these things? It's insane. I thought ice would help. When I was in New Jersey, I found that when it rained heavily and when it snowed, I always looked forward to it because I got a lot of relief. But I think it's because of what was being done to me there compared to here. I don't get any relief here from it snowing or raining. Who makes them? Oh, you've been posting about who makes them, KG? Okay, so you're saying that it does help. That's the way I felt in New Jersey. I always actually, like I said, I always look forward to it raining or snowing in New Jersey because when the weather was bad, it always helped. According to ChatGPT, water can absorb radio waves, particularly at higher frequencies. This is why underwater communication can be challenging. And who's buying up the radio towers for transmitting? That's a good question. Who's buying the radio towers for transmitting? Yes, I've heard that. I sleep with a water pillow. I mean, I do recommend the water pillow. It's so comfortable, and it's probably helpful. Ice packs, yes. You've had water bottles start popping randomly. Wow. They probably heat up. They're heating up. Okay, microwave weapons operate in the microwave frequency range, which is generally considered to be high frequency compared to other forms of electromagnetic radiation. Specifically, microwaves typically fall within the frequency range of about 300 megahertz or zero point 0.3 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz. Hi, Franio. Yeah, these are lovely creatures, aren't they? Right? Some people have said that using earplugs helps. I know that I switched out my bed in New Jersey. I got rid of the coiled mattress. And now I sleep on a gel mattress on a wood frame bed and a water pillow. Microwave can be defeated with metal. Also, microwave, unless industrial, has a limited range, so it has to be very powerful to harm us at length. Ace of Cups says microwaves are part of the electromagnetic spectrum and are situated between radio waves and infrared radiation. They have shorter wavelengths than radio waves, which allows them to carry more energy. That's exactly right. Gang Stalking needs to end. Said makes me wonder if that's why they started saying lead paint was toxic because it might interfere with their weapons. That's exactly right. And you know that black paint that's used to help shield has lead in it. Oh, Matson, you tried grounding the metal box spring. River Bluff says the problem is that these weapons have quantum tunneling properties, which allows them to penetrate shielding fairly easily. they changed to LED bulbs to help transmit creepy voice. That's funny. I don't like fluorescent lights at all. They always bothered me. Like when I was in a work setting, I used to unscrew them so that to turn them off. Ice can partially block microwave energy, but its effectiveness in blocking or absorbing microwaves depends on several factors, including the frequency of the microwaves and the thickness of the ice. If that makes sense. And besides, ice melts. You can't keep it solid while it's on your body or around your body. It will end up melting. Yes. Headlight strobing in videos on certain vehicles that makes sense. Yes, I've seen that. I've seen that on the back of a pickup truck around here. A strobing light, like it's like a strobing blue light. Yeah, the ice packs do help. Oh no, yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, they heat up your body and you lose a lot of collagen and water. That's why a lot of times you'll wake up with a headache because you're dehydrated. Just getting some fluid in your body will help. But I've never been one to get headaches. So when I started getting them in New Jersey, it was so bizarre. It didn't make any sense to me. I didn't realize I was targeted. Didn't realize what they were doing to me. Yeah, right now these criminals this week, they actually cut off every one of my fingernails. I mean, this is just so sick. They cut so all of my nails are short now. They cut off every one of my fingernails. I've got A bruise on one finger, on my wrist, on my shoulder. I've got scratches on my back. I mean, it's ridiculous. Oh my goodness, at 18 months old? Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, the ringing. I've got the frequencies in my ears 24/7. I didn't in New Jersey. A severe. Right, right. They have the technology to do pretty much anything. Oh, and I started to say earlier, they have the technology to hit your optic nerve so that you can't see something that's directly in front of you. It's like a game they play. It's like a magic trick. They can turn it on and off. So if something is right in front of you, if you're looking for something, it could be there and they'll cause you to not be able to see it and then they'll steal it. Yes, you can get sudden blurry vision. That sudden blurry vision is usually because somebody is around you or something they don't want you to see. Yes, I agree, Matson. That's probably right. Um, the heart issues. They can cause heart palpitations, seizures, anxiety. They like to play games. Oh my goodness. It sounds like a horror show. Sounds like a horror film, KG. I think they're asking you the comment that you made that you saw victims of serial killers who hadn't been unalived yet, all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah. Is that something you saw in your mind's eye? Or you actually physically saw it, or did you see it in a film? Yeah, that's very possible. You had a ghost attack you. Could it have been a cloaked person? 5 years ago? Oh my goodness. Oh, that's horrible. It is good that people talk about the paranormal aspects of this. Yeah, that's hard. That's a horrible experience, Battle. Yeah, it is very strange. Now, do you ever wonder if that experience was placed in front of you as being a targeted person? Do you think that that was part of the program? You start to wonder if a lot of things in our life hasn't been contrived, right? Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes. Or things just disappear. So well, and then they never show up. Oh yes, so I mean I'll just admit I carry a knife on me all the time. I carry it around my neck. And I used it to open a box in the cat's building. And this was during the snowstorm. And I left it in the cat's building. And when I went back to retrieve it, it was gone. Somebody came in and stole it. Yeah, there absolutely is black magic component of the program because I've mentioned this before. There are a lot of cults involved in this, and these cults are involved in witchcraft, black magic, witchcraft, rituals. And remember that Kevin, is it what is it? Aquino, the military guy who's not around anymore, but he knew all of this, knew all about the witchcraft. Michael Aquino, that was his name, Michael. Michael Aquino. He's gone, fortunately, but he was involved in all this cult-like behavior. He even looked like the devil, the way he combed his eyebrows up. But he was involved in the occult, and he was a high-level military official. I'm sure he's not the only one. He was a general, okay. I'm sure he was not the only one. I believe that many of these military guys are trained in this, in black magic, in witchcraft. Yeah, yes. Well, you right. We're not part of the cult, which is why we're targeted. I don't know why anybody would want to be in a cult. It just totally baffles the mind. No, River Bluff, I'm with you on that because I was totally clueless. I had no idea. I didn't watch TV, don't smoke, drink, or do drugs. I didn't vote. I was not political. None of this appealed to me. So it didn't make sense that I became targeted. I wasn't a whistleblower. I didn't work for any government agency ever. That's exactly right. Uh, you've chalked it up that there are targets, the gang stalkers, and the people that are still asleep. Grooming equals conditioning, indoctrination. Yeah, isn't that amazing? That's a good question. What you don't get is the energy to put out to keeping us out of the loop. Yeah, they do all the stuff against us, and we don't get to know why. Imagine if they had to explain why. Imagine. Well, you know what it is? They walk around like they've got some little secret. They've got the little smirky grins on their face, the little angry pouty faces. They're too stupid to believe whatever it is. They believe whatever it is that they're being told. They don't question anything. And you know what? They probably don't even care. Yeah, the smirk. The narcissist smirk. I've got raccoons fighting on the porch. They're fighting over a bowl of cat food. Put another bowl. You have no idea how much food these raccoons eat. I feel like all I do, I tell them sometimes, I say the kitchen is closed for tonight. I just keep putting more food out, more food, more food, more food. It's ridiculous. And then I name one of the raccoons Cookie, and I give her cookies, but I'm out of cookies. I'm all out of cookies. I'm gonna have to buy some more. I give them pretzels, peanuts, dried fruit. I want my FOIA files too. Yeah, that's funny. The mean girls say, "You can't sit with us at the lunchroom table." And your response is, "I didn't want to anyway." Oh, that's funny. These raccoons eat so much food. And I think, like, if I weren't here to feed them cat food, like, aren't they supposed to be eating like small mice and things like that? But no, they will just wait for cat food. The fox comes out and I feed the fox eggs and it's like, okay, well, and then the fox is eating cat food too. Like- and then of course then there are the possums. They're not my favorite animal in the world. It's like being bullied for not wanting to sit at the lunch table. They didn't want us at anyway. Like what the fuck is going on here? That's so funny. Yeah, they eat everything. Oh my goodness. I have one possum that's a little bit younger and smaller, and that one's cute, but I generally don't like them. And they're not, they don't harm anything. I don't know. They just remind me of like big rats. They'll miss me when I move. Yeah. They'll be like, "Yeah, where's the food?" I'll have to leave out bags of food. I want the fox though. I want to take my foxy with me. I like the fox. I'll have to get a fox. I know exactly where to get one too. There's a YouTube channel called Create Save a Fox. She saves foxes from fox fur farms. Oh, they eat all the bad stuff. Photo. Oh, I haven't seen it. I didn't know Steph Struble had a channel. Let me cut and paste this. 1 second. Let me get this. Okay. So what? Let's see. It's a short video. Something about photon belt. I don't know what it is. I don't think I've seen a real armadillo. I actually have, you like armadillos? I actually have a little armadillo statue outside. They're supposed to be for protection. Okay, so the Earth is entering a photo. Something about 3 days of darkness. I've heard of that. I've heard of that. What are they doing out there? I'll be right back. They're doing something out on the porch. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You finished that dish already? Oh my goodness. You finished? Okay, so I just filled their bowl with more cat food. I think the 702 portion of this program is critical for them to keep this program alive because for plausible deniability, they've got people harassing us from that are not Americans. And also, in order to keep some of us in the program, they have to concoct the narrative that we have a relationship with or in contact with some terrorist. And it's normally somebody from another country. Exactly. That's exactly right. 702 serves as the pretense. Okay, 702 is the section in the FISA court. It's Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. But what happens is exactly. But they're claiming that while they're surveilling foreigners, they're also surveilling Americans that have relationships with foreigners. So let's say you have a business here in the United States And I've made this point before. I staffed people. I staffed network engineers and stuff, and a lot of them were from India. They were not American. And sometimes I would be speaking to somebody in another country or speaking to somebody that was not an American citizen that was here on a visa, and they would be working in the United States, temporary visa, whatever, as a contractor. And I did that for 6 years. So imagine these criminals saying, like, oh, well, look at her. She has a relationship with a foreigner. Oh, then we need to be able to spy her. She's a person of interest because she speaks to somebody from another country that's not a US citizen. And that's how they would get away with it with Section 702. That Americans, so many Americans are getting caught up in it. Think about how many Americans have family members that live in other countries that maybe never came to the United States. Exactly, just like they did to Tulsi. Exactly. Or what if you marry somebody who is of a different ethnicity and their family lives in another country? So does that give them permission to place you under 702 under surveillance because you have relatives in another country now? Yeah, don't. Kim Straub, who, oh, they're killing each other on my porch. They're fighting over food. This is ridiculous. Um, Kim Straub, who's no longer with us, she was a nurse who was targeted. She used to receive text messages from other countries. She would mention it on some of the phone calls, those conference calls. Don't ever respond to text messages from another country. Jason Bermas, is that his name? Hermes or Burmese? Hermes or Burmese? I can't see that. Burmese. Burmaz. Okay. Oh, okay. Burmaz. Oh, that's a good idea, Matson. You had a call from DC the other night, didn't pick it up. I receive a lot of phone calls still after 6 years from area code 732, which is New Jersey. And I usually receive them in a row from two different phone numbers. I never pick them up. They go straight to voicemail. I don't know, Carnot. It's immigrant American citizens living offshore are having a hard time getting visa renewed. I really don't know. Battle says 702 was a female girl group. I don't know. I've never heard of that. That's funny. If is that true? Yeah, what I get a lot of, because I have my eBay store, they set up people to buy things in my store, but they steal them. Like the criminals here, the boots on the ground, the inhuman terrain team steal my inventory. Then they set somebody up to buy it. And then when I go to look for it, it's gone. And usually the person they set up to buy it has a newly created eBay account. Yes, the cult boots on the ground. These people are sick. And people have asked me, like, how do you stay sane? How can you not stay sane? The people around me are so sick. Like, they're so. The inhuman terrain team. Yes, the inhuman terrain team. Oh, they are. They're crazy. They're just pure evil. Pure evil. Oh, what they do to the animals. You would be so sick if I were to create a video and to show you what they've done to my cats in the past. You would not be able to handle it, actually. It's just so bad. Oh, you're calling the perps animals. Oh, that's too nice. Animals are nice. It's sort of like, I don't understand why people call police pigs. Like, pigs are really cute, smart animals. I don't know why they call them pigs. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'd rather call them criminals or tyrants if they're bad. I don't call my perps animals. I call them morons, addicts, criminals. The mops, pops, cops, wops, morons on patrol, criminals on patrol, predators on patrol, witches on patrol, losers on patrol. Yeah, lops. Those are the losers are the lops. LOPS. Losers on patrol. And the pops are the predators on patrol, the pedos on patrol, the perps on patrol. that's, that's funny. Jerry says, hi, Jerry. Jerry says, you can put a baby monitor out there and yell at them all. That's funny. Unfortunately, like I have like real animals like on the property. Like right now, I've got raccoons on the porch, and there are animals that walk around the property at night, so it just freak them out. Well, I'll give you an example. In New Jersey, it got so bad with the surveillance and the messing up with my cameras. I actually put trail cameras inside my bedroom. I had trail cameras inside my bedroom, pointed towards my bedroom door. In addition to the regular security cameras, like in the hallway, pointing outside, pointing inside, outside, sound, motion, all of that. And I went out and I came back, and I kid you not, somebody had been in and out of my bedroom and actually moved. I don't know how they did it. They moved the trail camera that was in the corner of my bedroom with the back of the trail camera against the wall, and they were able to move it a couple of inches so that when I reviewed the card, the images were away from pointing towards the entrance to the bedroom. I have no idea how they did that. You might do that. Get a baby monitor. I had baby monitors in New Jersey too. I'm telling you, I had everything imaginable. Because every time something didn't work, I would buy something else and something else and something else. It just got out of control. I hired a radiation expert. My mother hired security people. It's just off the charts. I had a private detective. I'm not going to waste my money anymore. I mean, there's no way you guys, everybody can protect themselves against military grade technology. And one person, like one little old me, can't fight like a gang. That's exactly right, Matson. Matson says, I put motion detectors in the bedroom the other day with the lights outside while working in the yard, and they kept blinking them on and off. Yep, that's what they do. Gang stalking needs to end. They're probably listening more than they're harassing you because we're having conversations about technology now and the things that we've done and haven't done. And they get really curious about these conversations. Is the creepy voice still in the background? You still hear the voice? It's still there. Last week it was pretty bad. Like you could almost hear actual words. And let me see if I can find it. They called them pigs because they had to work in the muck. I don't know. Pigs are cute and they're really highly intelligent. The creepy voices here. Hi, Nick. Let me see if I could find the email. I won't tell you who it is. Yes, Techno Kid asked me the question. Anyone else in your family who stalked? Yes. I found out that my father was targeted. That's why after he retired from IBM, he moved around the country a lot because he was being targeted and harassed. They stalked my father. They would actually, and I only found out recently that my father would receive threatening phone calls about his patents. My father invented a lot of things when he worked for IBM. He worked in the International Research Department, and he invented a lot of stuff. A lot. Inside IBM and outside IBM. And my father was harassed because he was going to patent some of his. Yes, my brother too. Yep. Yeah, I found out that my brother gets V2K. I found that out 2 years ago after my mother passed away. Um, I don't know. I look back in hindsight and there may be a history in the family. It's definitely my father. And then my father's wife, who's not my mother, um, they gave her brain cancer and then she became blinded and they both worked at IBM. They both worked at IBM. They met at IBM, and when my father worked in the International Research Department, he worked for the research scientists. And see, back in the day, before CAD, he would draw by hand the prototype designs for the research scientists, and he would usually improve them. And the research scientists loved the way he improved their designs. And he would my father would be invited to their homes because they were always kind of picking his brain and stuff. But my father invented a lot of things both at IBM and out of IBM. and they were harassing him. I only found out recently that my father was receiving phone calls, threatening phone calls to not patent his stuff. And they stole his ideas. And then my brother, my full biological brother, because I have a half brother too, different mother, we're all targeted. Yeah, my brother gets V2K, and I only found out 2 years ago. Although my brother has been targeted like longer, from what it appears to be longer than me. Probably because I don't know, he used to get into trouble a lot as a kid, and um, he got involved with Scientology for a while, which was really sucky. Yes. Yeah, like I am not close to my brother. My brother is not a nice person. He used to be. But my brother, I don't know. I'm not. You know what? I'm not going to talk about him. Other than that, he is targeted. I didn't really know it, and I'm wondering now, in hindsight, that some of my brother's behavioral problems growing up may have been related to him being targeted. He gets the V2K, and he would tell us. He would tell my mother, and he'd tell me. This is years ago. After, I think it was after he was separated, that he was getting zapped in his sleep. That's the way he put it. He was getting zapped in his sleep. I had no idea what he was talking about. And I used to talk to my mother about it, saying, like, I think I think my brother smokes way too much pot. But then I found out from his ex wife that he smoked pot. He smoked so much marijuana because of what was happening to him. So I thought it was the other way around, but then I found out that my brother was targeted with V2K, and that's why he smoked so much marijuana, because it lessened the effects. So in your family, it's your mother and you who are targeted. Well, that's horrible. So now your name there, Techno Kid 2020, is that when you found out that you were targeted in 2020? You smoked for a long time. Yes. Well, I don't know if you're aware of this. Uh, Long-term marijuana smoking can cause something called marijuana psychosis. It doesn't last forever, but it will cause some form of psychosis. And I know for sure my brother went through those periods of time when he was experiencing some kind of psychosis, and I think it was from smoking too much marijuana and also probably drinking alcohol. She gaslights you. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, I see. I don't know how anybody in their right mind uses any kind of drugs on the street. I'll tell you something what happened with my brother also. And again, I don't know how long this has been going on. My brother worked on Wall Street. My brother's a pretty smart guy. Like his math levels were off. He was always like 3 years ahead of his years in school as far as math goes. He was very good with math, and he was working on Wall Street, and he was really good. He was earning more money than me, and he's 2 years younger, so he was making a lot of money on Wall Street. And I mean, you're going to say this is just typical stuff, right? So my brother realized that something shady was going on there. So he goes to his boss and tells his boss that he found that somebody was doing something that was causing them to lose money. And it turns out that the boss already knew about this. And from that point forward, my brother was mobbed at work. They put what is it? They put a laxative in his water at work. So they were like gang stalking him at work. Like this is a long time ago. Your other account was stalked by her husband and probably his flying monkeys. Yeah. Back in New Jersey, I thought that tinnitus, like every time I would hear like a little buzz, I always thought that it meant that somebody who passed away, like that I was thinking of them, or that they were thinking of me, or that it was something supernatural or whatever. And then it was starting to happen more and more. I actually kept track of every time my ears started to ring. But now I don't have to worry about that because it rings 24/7 here. I don't have to worry about when it starts or when it, stops or when it starts again. It's just nonstop. Yeah, so my brother was targeted and I have to wonder I have to wonder if maybe it was happening when he was a little bit younger. I don't know. But when you become targeted, you start looking back at your family. I have a cousin that suddenly died in his sleep at the age of 38 years old. I mean, it was so devastating. And it was so bizarre. I mean, there were other kind of weird things like that happened in my family. Yeah, and he was a great lawyer. In fact, I was thinking about him. I don't know why I was just thinking about him so much the other day. And yeah, let me see if I could find it. Um, um, um. I had a hard time finding anything about him. Yeah, here. One second. Let me just type this in here. I had found an article about him. Let me see. I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. Okay, it was an article in the New York Times. Here, this is it. There's a subscriber that actually lives on a houseboat, and that guy, Jeff, the American guinea pig cash cow, he was living on a houseboat. Yes, he was. He was here for 3 weeks actually. Nicholas. Yeah, he was here for 3 weeks. Um, you know, he was okay. I don't know what happened to him, but I'll tell you that we had a disagreement. Not horrible thing, but he thought it was horrible. He did something that he shouldn't have done. I was really pissed off, and he decided to just pick up and leave in the middle of the night or early in the morning. Didn't say goodbye or anything. Then he sent me like a nice email, how cordial I was and everything. And then all he did was badmouth me on his channel, and I just unsubscribed to him. I wish him well. No, it didn't bother me at all because he was at the top of the hill. He was in an RV. It didn't bother me at all. I mean, I told him he could have stayed longer. Didn't bother me one bit. Um, it's a really big property. So if he's up there, I don't even know what's going on up there if he's hanging out up there. But what he would do, he'd come down here and he'd work in the garden. He'd go into town with a dog, his little doggy. And it's kind of a long story. I don't want to go into on this recorded, live stream. but he did some things and asked some things and that were totally inappropriate, not in a sexual way or anything like that. But I think he's got women issues. Um, and I've spoken to other targeted women who know him, and he's just got a lot of anger issues towards women. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what. Just he's got some issues. That's all I'm going to say. Not that he's a bad guy or anything like that. When you the voice stopped. I think it's possible. I think everybody handles it differently, but remember, we're all different personalities anyway. And I don't really know how he was before the targeting, but he did say that he grew up in a narcissistic home, both his father and his brother, so that has to have impacted him. So and then being targeted is no fun. I mean, his dog was so cute. He had a cute little dog, Bella. Yeah, that's what it was. It was Bella. Yeah, he's got anger issues for sure. Yeah, and imagine there. I think he always had them. I don't care what anybody says. Like I just got a vibe that he just has issues with women in particular. And again, it's not like he's a bad guy or anything like that. He's not a mean person. He just has some anger issues. Yeah, I stopped watching him too. It was like on his channel, like he would be yelling at us for not doing anything, like almost threatening us for not contacting Congress or politicians or whatever. Everybody has their own way of handling this. Some people don't want to contact anybody out of fear of retaliation. Yeah, no, there's nothing. He's not evil or anything like that. I mean, he takes really good care of his dog. He loves his dog and nothing like that. It's just a personality differences. That's all. The way of handling things. Yeah. Well, there are some YouTube creators that swear a lot, like so much. Like I'm shocked that YouTube doesn't cancel them because some of them are so vulgar. It's unbelievable. Like I watch. Well, I'm not going to say his name because I like listening to him actually because he's in New York. Um, but he curses so much, like every other word out of his mouth is the F word, and I'm shocked that he's still online. Everybody handles this targeting differently. Some people are really proactive, some people are writing, some people are filing lawsuits, some people do nothing. So, I mean, it's nobody's, I'm not going to be angry with somebody for not doing something. I mean, everybody has their own life. Nick says, I don't know anyone that doesn't have women issues. Oh, that's a good question. I have no idea. Does anybody know about Brian too? I haven't heard anything about Brian too. Hi, charismatic friend. Fiend. A nanotech in the air and the food. Absolutely. And everybody eats differently. I think it's in the alcohol, it's in cigarettes, it's everywhere. Brian. Yeah, Brian too. TEW. He has a Rumble and BitChute channel. I haven't seen anything posted. I know David A is in contact with him more, or at least has the ability to know what's going on with him. I haven't heard anything. Oh, he's been posting? Oh, good. Oh, so he's in New Jersey. Yeah. Well, I've said that too. There are people that have said that if you're going to be in the United States, to get out by 2027, because it's just going to be bad. And Brian is like a world traveler. He messaged on one of my recent streams. I don't remember seeing him. It could have been when I was away from the screen. Sometimes this time of the night, like, I will just let you guys chat amongst yourself. I didn't see it. I'm sorry to say that I didn't see it. Okay, so if he's in Teterboro, he's in New Jersey. I know that I've seen that he did fly into New Jersey a couple of times. Brian said to go to Cuba, Nicaragua, or Africa. I would go to Africa. That's where I would go. I don't know, those African people, they look like they're nice. And I like animals. Why not live in it? I already live in a jungle. You heard it's bad in Africa too? I guess there are a lot of poorer communities. Well, that's true too. Yeah, I get the I've contacted Lookout for Charlie. Actually, KG sent me one of Lookout for Charlie's videos where there's a creepy voice that he analyzed, and it sounds just like our creepy voice. There are a lot of Americans are moving to where are they moving? What is that? Peru and Thailand. Oh, it's definitely a man's voice. It's creepy. It's like mumbles. Oh, let me see if I could. There's that. One second. One of my subscribers analyzed the creepy voice, and this was her feedback. Let's see if I could find it. One second. I have too many mails. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay, this is what she says about the creepy voice. She says, I was driving home and listening to your live. The creepy voice, as you know, was on there. Here's my thoughts on it. I could be completely off with this, but here's my take on it. Now, I'm going to leave out her name or anything like that. She says, I've had some bitches' voices beaming to my brain V2K since 2009. I'd like to turn it around and say it that way because I have a brain and she, her trashy crew, does not have a brain. So let me fast forward here. She said it's like a two-way sick ass telepathy, straight up V2K from the meth head warlock gang, military grade equipment given to gangs and their cronies in crime, all ex military with a splash of Lockheed Martin contractors involved. That's it. I believe the frequencies being sent to your devices while you're live, for those of us who are quote unquote afflicted with this disgusting technology, and everyone else who hears it is going to be like, what the heck is that? That's the creepiest thing I ever heard. And it's exactly how people hear it, as the creepy guy, unless, like me, who got the two-way telepathy of V2K. When I hear it, my brain picks up voices. When one has V2K thrust upon them, a dishwasher or even a drop of water or fork can sound like a name or a word, a catchphrase they use, also known as piggybacking on frequencies. They will ride the voice over the airwaves on the same frequency, say, as a radio station. That's not true V2K though. V2K is hearing it in your brain from a computer to satellite, what have you directly to one's specific brain as they have mapped it out. Let me give you an example on the creepy voice guy, because I've also been trying to figure this out. As I was listening to your video on YouTube with the creepy voice, I heard not mumbling, but words. I heard my name. I also heard wah, 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 and the words thought police over and over was thought police, thought police, thought police. It went on and on and on with those words, familiar voices. I even fast forward the video to hear your discussion with others in the chat. You were checking on one of your cats at that point in the video. Yeah, last week, Zoomy was outside. I had to get him back in the building. And then she says, prior to you entering the chat from the cat, there was a very loud pitch frequency that came in. It then went back to me hearing the frequency of them saying, thought police, F you, thought police, wah. This was and is my brain's interpretation of now its reality due to having V2K. Every time I listen and hear the creepy voice on there, but it's with everything. I can be in bed in my house, the kid's house, parents' store, every store, it doesn't matter. This is what happens when the mind is effed with in such a manner. I believe the mumbling of the creepy voice are frequencies coming through, done by someone, obviously, and a person such as myself who has V2K. It sounds like words in our brain. It's turned into that as they ride the frequency of what we are listening to. It will turn sounds that most people just think are sounds, like a hair dryer, in our brains, they become a word. There's a sensitization that goes along with V2K. It's so sick and evil. Only the evilists partake in this sort of thing. Aside from SA, traffic lights, which we know they are all guilty of, words, like I said, are the catchphrases or something we would pick up it to be. After having that on for a bit, I stopped it. Well, I can't really say the next stuff here. Let me see. That's why I say there are catchphrases. Thought police was heard, and wah, wah, wah. as I have been calling them that for 2 days and said, wah, wah, wah. Well, I can't really say the rest because that's too personal. Okay. Not sure if that's it, but that is what happens to my brain when it's in the background. I believe the creepy voice is for those with V2K to hear better what is being said, done by their individual perpetrators, or they're piggybacking on the frequency of your channel to individuals who now hear all V2K as all V2Ks do. She said it may be long and perhaps confusing, but if you don't have V2K, and I don't think you said you do, can you make out words from the creepy voice in any of the videos? I can't make out any of the words, but they do sound like words. I'm just reading what you're saying here. It's coming through my technology. Do you want to know how I know? Because I did an impromptu Zoom call with Richard Moore, and when he first started recording the Zoom, the creepy voice was there immediately. And then we ended it and we started up again. The creepy voice was still there. So it's definitely happening on my end. I don't even know how to get rid of it. It's probably in my laptop somehow. And that's probably why my laptop has been so slow. They've done something to it. So that oh, I've got a helicopter overhead right now. At 1:23 a.m., we've got a copter overhead. Our tax dollars hard at work. 1:23 a.m. It's now considered to be Sunday, and we've got helicopters flying over rural Kentucky. I don't know. People say that sometimes if you slow a video up, you might be able to hear the words better. I tried doing that. I really couldn't make it out. It did sound like words, but I couldn't decipher what the words were. Nick says, I've noticed many helicopters ever since I've subscribed. No, you're. No, that's not true. Oh my goodness. It's true? No, you really? Oh my goodness. Well, I guess you're a person of interest too. ChatGPT. I mean, I think this is too funny. I've never once said I was a targeted person, a watch listed person, and non investigative subject person whenever I've asked a question of ChatGPT. Like I've asked about real estate mobbing, I've asked about other things, and then suddenly ChatGPT turns around and provides me an answer and said that that I am a person of interest. He said a person of interest, and then like in parentheses, like you, with an exclamation mark. I don't hear anything. I don't hear the creepy voice now. I won't hear the creepy voice until I play this back. And then I can't hear the words. I mean, if anybody can hear the words that the creepy voice is saying, please let me know. But, this one subscriber said that she kept hearing it said, thought police, wah, wah, wah. I know. I know. Oh my goodness. I mean, literally, I lead a very boring life. Well, it's not really boring because I'm busy all the time, but it's totally boring. Scooping litter boxes, vacuuming, feeding animals. I feed chickens, I feed cats, I feed raccoons. I'm constantly washing dishes. I'm constantly brewing coffee. I'm constantly, sweeping floors in the cats building. And now I've got kittens to take care of. It's not that exciting, let me tell you. Not exciting at all. The only thing that it's exciting when the fox comes to visit, and then all hell breaks loose. Oh well, I'm so glad. I'm glad we all have an opportunity to chat and share information. It is. I don't want them to know my private thoughts. Although, you know what we should all do? We should all privately think about how karma is going to get them. Yeah, the detox that look out for Charlie, is that like the 3 cups of Epsom salt? Yeah, I think that in our private space, because they are listening to our thoughts, that we should just tell them that karma's coming for them. We don't have to be nasty or anything like that. But, the way they want to inflict all of this upon us, if they're monitoring our thoughts, then we have it in our power to think things that we want them to know too. Yeah. Yeah, destroy evil. Destroy evil. Yes. Yes. That's right. Collectively, we are a threat once united. Satan takes those and the things we most love. Yeah, they killed a kitten last week. I mean, how evil is that to kill a kitten and then do what they did to the kitten's eyes? I didn't even get to take pictures of their eyes today because I wanted to take progressive photos. I'm gonna have to wait until tomorrow. Yeah, Satan is a loser because winners, good people don't need to be stalking other people. We don't need to monitor what other people are doing. It doesn't mean anything to me. I don't really care what anybody else is doing. I don't care. It's a waste of my time. And why do I want to even monitor people that mean absolutely nothing to me? It doesn't do anything for me personally, intellectually, to my soul. It does nothing for me. I don't even want to associate with these people. There is nothing about them that remotely interests me. Zero. I have nothing in common with them. I mean, at least in New Jersey, there were some things that I had in common with some of my neighbors. I mean, obviously, we all kind of had children. We all grew up there, raised our children there together. We had similar houses, similar lifestyles, and stuff like that. People worked for a living. It was a little different. But here, there isn't anybody here that I'm remotely interested in being friends with. And, I'm the kind of person where I just like to be friendly to everybody. It doesn't mean I have to like everybody. It doesn't mean I have to associate with them. Just, to be friendly, say hello. You don't have to hang out with them. But not here. I want zero. Zero. And the fact that our government here sucks so badly, it's so bad. Oh my goodness. Aaron says, I rented a garage, no heat, ventilation, or windows. A guest house for $3,100? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh my goodness. See, I do have an extra building on this property that has electricity in it, but it was never completed. It doesn't have running water, um, or ventilation or anything like that. It does have a new roof. It has new windows. It has a new door, but it's not completed because these criminals never allowed me to finish it. I spent so much money on it. So much. Yeah. Oh, I missed something. Video called "The End of Electronic Harassment." Let's see. Nick, that's interesting because I think that the more that I've learned about this, I think that probably most of the people that are incarcerated are innocent. I mean, yeah, people commit crimes and do stupid stuff, but a lot of people are in there that have not committed crimes, and they're just way too many that after being in there for 20 and 30 years have come out and have proven that they were innocent. It's huge money making business. Huge. Um, do I have a gut feeling about why there are so many aircraft hovering overhead your homestead, even this helicopter? You become a flashpoint in the TI community. Um, well, let me say, before I had my YouTube channel, I had a lot of aircraft over this property. In fact, it was so funny. I had first moved here and I received a Federal Express delivery. I mean, he's retired. That guy is retired. Well, we're talking on my driveway, and a helicopter just passes right over us. And it's loud. It's like close. And the UPS, the Federal Express guy he says, you must be an important person. I just looked at him like I couldn't believe he said that. But there was a helicopters flying all over here when I first moved here, and I did not have a YouTube channel at all. But I also think it's because the property behind where I live belongs to the state of Kentucky, and I think that the path to the Kentucky troopers may be around my property. So I think that part of it is like the stalking, and part of it is like a regular flight pattern. But the regular flight pattern is on the other side of my property, like in between my neighbors and mine. That is like the normal flight pattern. But when they go directly over my property, it's harassment. I mean, they've been so close to my house, it's crazy. They've been literally over the house. Like I thought they were going to touch the exhaust on the top of the house. Yeah, they shake the building. Well, of course, now it would be the plausible deniability that we've got so much going on in the country now. But there are helicopters. Like, look, what was it? 1:23 a.m. A helicopter. Yeah, so they've been around here before I ever had a YouTube channel. So, but they were in New Jersey too. In New Jersey, I remember distinctly one time I was in my office in New Jersey. A helicopter flies directly over my office, and I suddenly get a headache. That is not a coincidence. That was an assault. That was definitely an assault. And at that point, I didn't really know what was going on. I just need to stand up, guys. I'm sitting here too long. Okay, so one of the raccoons took the dish off of the porch here and stuck it out in the rain. Yes, please remember to hit the thumbs up for anybody that hasn't hit the thumbs up. Well, it's definitely funded. I think it works differently in different locations. Oh, that's interesting. Medical rescue. That's not, I don't think that's what's happening here right this minute. I don't think that's happening. Oh, yeah, it's filthy. Oh, you have to see the water. They put what they do is they take their paws, they pick up the cat food, they carry it over to the water, they wet it, and then they eat it, and they do this back and forth, and the water is absolutely filthy. And plus, it rains here today, so um, it's just all wet and messy. They're slobs, like raccoons are slobs. It's not dirt. It's not dirt. It's smart dust. Yeah. Yep. Oh, it absolutely is real. They've been using that cloaking technology since the day I moved here. I witnessed it, and I even caught these creatures. You can see like outlines of them in the infrared. If you have infrared cameras, and they set off motion sensors. Right, they don't salivate. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, gang stalking needs to end. Thank you, I appreciate it. No, I witnessed it. I was sitting outside with my cats. I was living here for a few weeks. I'm sitting in the dark at a table. I don't know, I was looking at my phone or whatever, and suddenly I hear it sounded like people walking from my woods down past me. I look up quickly. My cats that were sitting with me jumped up and run over to this area, and we see nothing, but there was a portion of the grass that looked like somebody had stepped on it. So these criminals, they actually literally walked right by me, right by the cats. The cats saw that somebody came down. That's how bold they were when I moved here. Walk right past me while I'm sitting at a table. Yes, sometimes you'll see the orbs. Exactly. Exactly. Remember, this is military grade technology. They've got all the money in the world, obviously. Like when you mention these movies and stuff, just so you know, like I haven't watched them. I don't have a TV. The only time I get to watch a movie is if somebody tells me, I'll go look it up on YouTube and watch it. Oh, there was one last week that somebody mentioned I started to watch. Oh, it was what was it called? Divergent. The movie Divergent. I found it on YouTube. Absolutely, and also because everybody's in on it. That's exactly right. Exactly. The cloaking, it's also called invisibility or camouflage. I mean, the military has been researching camouflage techniques for decades. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see it. An 80s movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I did not see it. I would not have watched a movie like that anyway. The Harry Potter has a cloaking device. Yeah, I know. I know we're all living in a movie for sure. Exactly, exactly. And you know, there are videos on YouTube. If you type in invisibility cloaking, there are videos on YouTube that will demonstrate how it works. Do you think that one day all these criminals, they're collecting information on us? Maybe they'll create a film about us in the future. What do you think? Maybe we'll have just like one huge biography, a documentary. They have spent so much money. Oh, you're writing one? We need a documentary. We absolutely need a documentary with all of our stories. Like, somebody this week wrote a comment that we need to write a book, a collective book about all of our testimonies and stories. And I'm thinking that would be a massive undertaking. It would just be so massive. It would require each one of us contributing something and then compiling it together. Um, Richard Bruce had a video where it says the creatures depicted in Alien and Predator actually are real. Well, I don't know what they are. Oh, he lived in an RP out in LA. Well, it's interesting for sure. I don't know. I don't know what the fascination is with these reptilians and reptiles and stuff. I think they're ugly. I don't like reptiles actually. Nicholas says I just got off the phone with a semi-famous YouTube target, trying to convince him to just go in like they're not around. You can't live for these efforts. There are a lot of targeted people that have written books on targeting and their stories and stuff, but it would be interesting to have, a book with many stories. So, guys, it's we're nearing up at 2 a.m. So, in about 10 minutes, I'm going to end the live stream. So, I'll let you guys chat a little bit longer. And thank you, everybody, for joining in. So, in about 10 minutes, I'll be ending the live. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So I'm glad everybody had an opportunity to chat. Yeah, it's because I'm on Eastern time here, so it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning, and I've got to wake up at 7 to feed my babies. Oh, you're so welcome, and thank you all for all of your contributions because I learned so much from you guys. And it's good to brainstorm here and share ideas. And also know that we're not alone, that this really is happening, and we cannot listen to these criminals because no aliens ripped me from the document. No, no. Oh, you're so welcome, everybody. I appreciate it. And anybody that has a testimony to share, you can always email it to me. I'll read it. If you'd rather do it on the phone, I can do it on the phone also. I guess the only plus to having it in writing is that you get to keep it for yourself, and that I can read it when I have time. When I have to do like an interview or whatever on the phone, I have to schedule it, around actually being present at that moment, allocating the time for it. I never know how long it's going to go. So I'm going to sign off for now. Everybody have a great night. And oh, congratulations. Congratulations. Everything I write about needs a forward to pretext my story. It's a bit out of context. Thank you, everybody. Yes, you can always send me updates. For anybody that has already provided a testimony, you can always send me like a part 2 or a part 3. People are always interested to hear, how people are progressing and what's happened, especially if you got some good evidence. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you guys soon.